how do you faithfully translate a series? When it comes to adaptations of stuff such as comics and games, translating them into a different format can sometimes be difficult. Going from manga to anime is usually pretty easy, but people tend to forget that a lot of things need to be restructured, either it be the cinematography or the pacing. It's a really easy thing to mess up and can sometimes ruin the source material if it's done very poorly. I'd say specific examples, but I kinda wanna live for a few more decades. It's a very difficult thing to fully get right, balancing between capturing the original atmosphere and plot of the characters while retaining the creator's original intentions. This doesn't just apply to anime, of course. Stuff like video games are very easy to butcher, and I can go on a whole tangent for that. Whenever you see a live action adaptation being announced for anything, people are usually like, oh my god, bruh, because there are so many ways you can fuck it up. The plot can be messed up, the tone can be messed up, the characters can be messed up, and while those things can happen in any other adaptation such as anime, it's way more noticeable in live action because of it being in real life. People will focus on shit like how characters talk, how the camera moves, how the characters walk. Yes, this is a real concern. Movement in a game/anime will not be the same as in real life, and people will rightfully nitpick that shit. Back in the day, it was horrid, as these adaptations often not only mess up the atmosphere of the series, but also the plot, because compressing something into a 6-episode series, or god forbid a movie, is just spelling disaster. Luckily, companies have gotten smarter with doing live action adaptations. Instead of doing direct adaptations, they'll make it take place in an alternate universe, or they'll do something like, from the world of insert series here, so it can take place in the world of said series, but in a different part of it that isn't directly connected to the game. Being real, it's a really smart move. They don't have to worry about replicating the moments people know a series for. So the whole faithful plot part that people criticize is pushed down in favor of how well the atmosphere and tone is recreated, along with, if the show is good or not. Does the live action adaptation feel like it can fit perfectly in with the source material? Does it match the visuals? Does it match the tone, the style, the messages, the emotions? Can I recognize that this series is the same one that I love, just in a different format? Those are the kinds of questions I have when it comes to live action adaptations of series that I really enjoy. And now that we're on the topic of that, do I get to say it? Can I say it now? Okay, low-key, this is starting to become a bit of a tradition. Love Life is a multimedia idol franchise focused on school idols as they dance, sing, and perform. Starting with their roots with Muse in 2010, they've expanded to a large number of groups, with many of them still operating to this day. I sound like ChatGPT saying that out loud. Anyway, Love Life is a series that has gotten adapted to every form imaginable. They've gotten a manga, an anime, games that were awesome till they fucking died, light novels, audio dramas, anything you can think of, it's been adapted to. And recently, a couple years ago, it got adapted to another form of media, a stage play musical. Now, Love Life has never strayed away from doing some sort of live action real life stuff. I mean, they have the live performances and music videos of the seiyus, but this was a bit different as this group was conceived just for the stage play. Stage play. Real life. Live actions. Keywords. I'll connect them soon, don't worry. Now, the stage play isn't the topic of this video. It's Japan only, and the last time it ran was like April 2025, so I think it's dead. Also, pretty sure it's already been released on Blu-ray, but I don't know Japanese, and there hasn't been like a group that has subbed it yet, so yeah. Here's the juicy part though. The Love Life musical must have done well because in 2024, a live action adaptation of the stage play musical was announced and began airing on November 21st, 2024. This means technically yes, Love Life has gotten a live action adaptation. It may not be based off the anime or manga, but with how many timelines and continuities there are in the universe, if it's Love Life, it's Love Life. But what makes something Love Life? The first thing I had in mind when watching the musical was, is the series just going to be a straight adaptation of the stage play, or was it going to be that along with being a Love Life show? Think of your favorite series. What kind of emotions do you think it oozes? Happiness? Hope? Despair? It's good for a series to establish familiarity with a ton of aspects. Sometimes they'll use it against you, but for the most part, there's guidelines to make a series what it is. But let's pretend that you don't know what the hell Love Life is. Love Life has always been a series about hope. The initial premise for the first season they ever made was about a group of high schoolers creating an idol club to save their school from closure. The odds are stacked against them, and the series has always done a good job at making an underdog situation where you want to see these characters grow and become the people they want to be. If they work hard, they can achieve their dreams. It isn't just about saving the school or winning the Love Life competition, it's also about the individual characters and their goals. Why do they want to be a school idol? What's the point in them joining this group? While not always perfectly done, every one of these characters and their dreams are usually accomplished, and when they're feeling bold, sometimes they'll even show us that it's okay if hope isn't enough to accomplish something. It's a very upbeat series, and as it's been around for over a decade, it's developed many archetypes and tropes that many of its entries follow. The overly energetic protagonist, the gremlin. If I'm watching or reading anything Love Life related, I have a certain amount of prerequisites for something to really be Love Life. So let's start from the top. The plot of the school idol musical revolves around two girls from two different schools who are also, get this shit, the daughters of the presidents of said two schools. Anzu is an existing school idol who has troubles with being one, while Ruika is someone who's inspired to be a school idol because of guess who? Anzu. After Anzu unexpectedly transfers to Ruika's school, an adventure begins on the formation of a brand new school idol club. So obviously the mention of school idols instantly connects it to love life, but it doesn't stop there. A big theme in the musical is freedom and expression. A big conflict with the two main characters, Ruika and Anzu, is that they're both pawns to their parents, forced to have their dreams and goals be what their parents want them to be. Anzu's mom created the school idol club just for her, and Ruika's mom wants Ruika to, be at the top of her grades for her future and don't do anything like, have fun. There's very direct parallels between both Anzu and Ruika, and they make it direct to the point. It's established that their parents have had beef with each other, and not just beef, but beef since they were in middle school, which just makes it so funny. This kind of topic has been done before numerous times in the series, and it all connects to one of the main themes of love life: expression. You know the rules of a musical? About how a song should only happen if the emotions of characters can't be expressed via words, it has to be expressed via singing? Love Life strives in that department. Sometimes they have direct episodes where they make the songs in lore, and sometimes the songs are just a result of the characters' emotions reaching the max. Everyone's got shit they have to deal with, and the end result of it is being able to express themselves fully. The musical does an amazing job of conveying this. We get to see that natural growth of Anzu learn to be herself, enjoy being in the school idol club that wasn't made just for her. I'll say right now, from an editing format, I think the series is paced really well. Despite there only being 6 episodes instead of a usual 13 episode season, a lot is covered and the two main characters get a ton of focus. I will slightly complain about the other characters and groups getting no attention, but I'll get to that later. One thing I really loved that they did was keep the tradition of having insert songs in the season. In Nijigasaki Season 2, they had a Love You My Friend insert song during a montage, and a similar montage happens in the musical, which I really loved. It isn't as abundant as I want, sadly, but in all fairness, a big part of this series is growing to become idols, with only the last 2 episodes really having them perform. It's like a surfing Dracula situation if you know what the fuck that means. But in terms of the main themes of love life, it gets this picture of Kachamachi, which means it did a pretty good job at adapting it. Now, the next part, which is arguably the hardest one to translate, the acting. Characters acting and moving in an anime is very different to real life, so how does it work here? In my opinion, I think it's faithfully done. Listen, doing the whole energetic shit works in animation, but in real life, you're gonna cringe at least a little bit. But being real, I should probably adapt that mindset because I'm depressed as fuck. The acting in the musical is all good. I think it shines the most during the serious scenes, but there's always gonna be a level of secondhand embarrassment when you try doing those over-exaggerated expressions like in anime. Stuff like overplaying your emotions, overplaying your movements. It honestly works for the series, and you could call it a faithful adaptation since over-exaggerating emotions is important for a stage play since everyone can always see the actors up close. I think Ruika's actor does a really good job at capturing the Genki protagonist. She's overbearing, and her physical acting, especially towards is probably one of the highlights of the series for me, just because it contrasts so heavily with the acting. I think Maya also has some really fun acting. You can tell the cast had fun with it, which is probably the most important part. Also, I don't know why I'm talking about how cringe the overacting can be, because bro, I do this shit a lot of the time. You'll get used to it as the show goes along, so if you get cringed out by that kind of stuff, don't worry about it. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say the acting reminds me of Love Live, because it's kind of impossible to replicate, but nothing really stood out in a bad or good way. Voice acting is very different from physical acting, so I won't give it too much shit, but I feel animation with voice acting allows for a lot more exaggeration. Like, take this shot in Squirrel Project Episode 1. The acting and the animation complement each other incredibly well, so if you want to do a similar shot, you gotta restructure it, which the show does well to an extent. I don't know why I'm overanalyzing this so hard. Maybe it's because it's like the only time Love Life has ever done something like this. I swear, I don't usually go this deep. And for the record, I haven't watched any other J-drama live action shows. Like, I've never seen this type of show before. K-dramas? Yeah. C-dramas? My parents have it playing every single fucking night, so yes. But J-drama is unknown to me. I think it's time I expand my horizons or something. Anyway. Visuals. Okay, holy shit, this series is so pretty. From the first episode, I love the color palette and how this show is color graded. I love how the show is shot, and I love the bright colors that are plastered all over. Even the school outfits have such a distinct visual charm to them, placing them on the level of Miu's and Aqua's school outfits. There's always been a dreamlike feel to the Love Life series, especially with their music videos, and somehow they recreate that exact feeling for the entire season. The color palette is between a red and green hue, matching up the school outfits for each of the schools. Oh my god, symbolism or something. The season is filled with so much bloom and sunlight, and it gives the series an instantly unique charm. It's definitely not Love Life, but still radiates the same vibe as Love Life, which is honestly an achievement within itself. That first performance showed me that it was still Love Life. It may be in a different format, but visually, this was still the series I knew. Also, this series is shot so well. It knows when it wants to have an emotional moment, and there's little shots here and there that I really appreciate. You know, surface level shit, but come on, we should appreciate it when it's there. When Ruika is talking to her mother about becoming an idol to help the school, she's covered by the light, blurred as her mother walks away. Ruika keeps talking and reassuring her mother, but it's not until she mentions her father's last words that Ruika's mom stops, and the camera has Ruika fully in view, no longer covered by the light. I don't think this shot would have made much of an impact on me if it wasn't for the lighting and color grading, because they make that light super big, so when a character comes out of the light, it's straight out of an anime. I love how this show looks. Okay, I'll admit it can sometimes be too bright, but I prefer that over a show that looks barren and desaturated. I like style. I love colors. And Love Life oozes so many colors. In any other show, this kind of lighting would be treated as a flashback, a good memory to look upon. But in this show, this is the good memory, and you're living it in real time. Some of the editing is a bit funny though. They just slow the footage down to take freaks me out every time. It takes advantage of the real life format so well visually, so I genuinely have no complaints. This is perfect. And you know what else is perfect? The music. Love Life is music. It literally started off with music even before an anime. It's what most people know it for, along with the games, but who said that? I can safely say though, the music in this season is perfect. The opening is Love Life. Even the OST is Love Life. I don't know if we got an official soundtrack release, but holy shit, these tracks are really good. Are they copyrighted on YouTube? Can I steal it? Now, I am no musician or a music theory person, although there should definitely be people who make content on that, but these songs perfectly encapsulate Love Life. That opening is so perfect in both visuals and the music, and the song performed at the end of the season is so Love Life. Even the lyrics are Love Life, if that makes any sense. I do like how the song is created though. Because of the short season, the one song they actually perform is built up to by the character Yuzuha, who thinks of Ririka and instantly writes the lyrics you fucking get, but it's something that's faithful to the Love Life series. A good song is one thing, but having a story behind the song is another thing entirely, and can heighten the experience listening to it. Some of the best songs in Love Life are made the best because of these scenarios. Did we check all the boxes yet for if the musical faithfully adapts Love Life? Hey, here's a spoiler, guys. The series already faithfully did. I just want an excuse to talk about the musical. So I'm gonna take this time to keep talking about the series now that you're here. I actually really like the focus on the whole idol aspect. We get to see them train in really long montages and give up pointers to each other. As someone who's seen actual idol training somewhat, I can say that a lot of it is really accurate, which is really cool. Training isn't really that focused on the series besides for some montages, but we don't get like a whole minute of them performing because of the animation budget. See, another cool aspect of doing live action. This is a really weird one. I like that the focus isn't just on the idols. I just contradict myself in this span of a minute. Ririka and Anzu's mom get a ton of focus on how they grow to let their daughters be who they want to be. It's a really funny scenario as we get to see the parents bickering against each other while their daughters are quite literally chilling. Their rivalry is goofy, and I love how it begins to escalate to a serious issue as both of their worlds are shattered when they see their daughters doing what they want to do. Anzu's mom gets hit so hard by seeing Anzu be happy in a different idol club that she has to go to the hospital. That's how bad it is. It just focuses on aspects that aren't really touched upon in other Love Life series. There's a lot more natural conflict in the series regarding centers and idol performances that just make sense, and I do really like how, again, the story takes its time with it and lets scenes linger. Again, this series is paced really well. There's so much content within one episode, and it caught me off guard numerous times knowing there was more before it ended. But this comes at a cost. I like how scenes linger, but due to the 6 episodes this series has, holy shit does it feel like this needs a season 2 to rectify certain things. These characters, I love them. But who are you guys? Even on the green team, yes, I'm calling them green team, I only resonate with like a couple of them. Ririka because of the protagonist, Yuzuha because of her getting a really good scene of how much she loves Ririka, and Maya because her acting is really memorable. That's it. And on the red team, bro, Mitsusu is the only one I can say anything about because I like their haircut and her arc was compelling to me, wanting to be the center herself. This is begging for a season 2, because I do not feel anything when, spoiler alert, the 2 school idol clubs combine together because I know like only 40% of y'all. It's still a cool scene, but I do wonder if the stage play does a better job at this. If anyone's watched it, let me know. It just feels half-baked. The characters who get focused on are done really well, but everyone else gets relegated to the background. I'm starting to feel very conflicted by my opinion on this series. It's harmless at the end of the day. This series came and went. At least that's how it went for me. The 6 episode count did not help, and not a lot of people even know this exists. I had to use the power of Team Onibe for to help this video, so thank you guys. I should probably mention the big fear of the show, which I'm not going to focus on too hard, but I do feel it should be mentioned since I made that timeline video a long time ago. Some people mentioned about the musical's placement in the timeline, enough that I got a short entry in the iceberg I made for Halloween. Now the theory goes, the musical is the first entry in the Love Life timeline. Why? Because it takes place in the early days of the idol world, if I'm stealing words from Love Life Wikia. Basically, it takes place before iPhones and all that jazz. They still use camcorders, and it's clear the technology isn't modern as we see with the first season of Love Life, which is the first entry chronologically. There is not much else that really connects it to it being the first in the timeline, because for all we know, this could just take place in a different universe, but it's a nice thought. I guess the only reason I'm holding myself back from supporting it is because besides the time placement, there's no connecting thread, no Love Life competition, or anything that would foreshadow it. Even Nijigasaki had the Love Life trophies and UTX, which people help point out, so it's, I'm on the edge, but if anyone has any solid evidence that could push me to believe it, let me know, because if you convince me, I will shove into the timeline with no hesitation. I've been neglecting this series for a while now, and I do apologize for that. I do for a fact know that the musical has some shooters, and after watching it, I understand the vision. This is a series that needs a bit more attention in the form of an anime or another season, because it feels like the prototype for something. Again, I'm saying this with no knowledge of the stage play, but this feels like a test for something, an experiment. And one thing I really love is seeing an experiment go beyond its intended result. In a positive way, of course. I mean, hey, it won't exactly be confirmed, but that group Nijigasaki, come on, that shit was running around in circles before it got to the spot it's in now. It's got 3 whole movies coming out, that's how you know it's made it. But hey, I'm not the CEO of a multimedia series, what do I know? But you shouldn't let things go to waste. The musical is a nice sidestep in the Love Life series, and a great example of how to faithfully translate a series in terms of the vibe. Love Life as a series doesn't really warrant that kind of fan base that hates any adaptations made or series, at least I don't think so. We got some Elise here. Anyway, live action adaptations of a series can work. I was gonna say but fuck it, but